Open your mind. Prepare for the journey. For the next 60 minutes, you are going to be taken into other realities. Other worlds within our own, where real people have experienced visitors from the unknown. In the next hour, stay tuned to explore the amazing phenomenon of crop circles. Are these evidence that aliens are visiting Earth? No one has been able to solve this startling mystery. Then, relive the story of Trevor Ford and the ghosts of lost World War II airmen. And finally, a close encounter. A UFO experience that scientists and government officials admit is real.
What created this? We don't know. The creator, you could call God. You could call it E.T. We don't know. We have no idea who or what the creator is. But there's something very special going on. This cannot be created by nature as we understand nature to be. My name is Colin Andrews. This is my story, and it's real.
Meet Colin Andrews. Until recently, he was a senior officer and chief electrical engineer in West Hampshire. He had up to 400 people responsible to him in his job capacity. But something of such enormity happened that he quit his job and is risking everything to pursue phenomenal events that are unfolding. Events that may affect all of us someday. It all began for Colin in 1983, when he was on his way to a business meeting.
These markings immediately struck me as being not only symmetrical, but extremely unusual. I'd never seen anything like it before. I think many people would see these markings as sheer artistry. It's like a cosmic finger drawing pictures in the canvases of southern England.
In 1976, farmers began discovering simple circular formations. Less than 10 that year. In 1978, a quintuplet set was discovered, 5 circles forming a cross. From that time, the complexities of the circles began to evolve. And then in 1990, a new and staggering development appeared. Straight lines. Nature never creates a straight line.
Everything here depicts behavior. It depicts intelligence. And that means that there may well be a message. It is that message which we need to know.
This phenomenon is not happening in southern England alone. There have been reports of these pictograms in the snow in Scotland, fields of France, Switzerland, Germany, the ice fields of Russia, crops in Australia, and numerous sightings of the fields of Japan and Canada. In the U.S. alone, there were 20 reported cases this past year. The media took notice and the world began to pay attention. Observers from the public, the science community, and even the military increased. Crop circle watching practically became a spectator sport. Still, there were no answers, not even any clues. Skeptics believed it was a hoax, and when a couple of enterprising gentlemen came forward, the mystery appeared to be solved. These men never claimed responsibility for doing these complex pictograms, only the simple circles. Their crude attempts didn't even come close to the beauty and complexity of the mysterious crop circles. Their fame was short-lived, as the reasons for their actions soon became apparent.
Money. Because in England we have a reward on offer in American terms, of $25,000 if you can solve the problem of the crop circles. That was the second one this year. We had some in July claiming that they knew how it was done. So they weren't the only ones, but they just seemed to have a bit more publicity. As far as I'm concerned, there is no way they could have done it.
It's very strange. Once you've seen the genuine one and been involved with it, well, it's different. It's unexplainable. It really is strange.
The dimensions, the densities, and the complexity of these circles are evolving and increasing dramatically. We have now, just last year, we had reports in excess of 500 between May and September. This year already, we have 250 independent sites, and that probably, when we finish putting them into the computer, will exceed 1,500 actual events. And on average, they are arriving here now between 2 and 5 major agroglyphs each day. It would take an army of people to construct them.
My husband's family have farmed here for 103 years. And last year, we experienced our first taste of the crop circles quite early in the morning. And we saw it below the road in the fields. We had binoculars with us, went up on the hills and looked down on it, and realized that this was something pretty incredible. I can't tell you what they are. I can't even tell you what I think they are. I can tell you what I know they're not. I know they're not made by people.
I've farmed here since I was a boy, and I've never seen nothing like we saw when we had the circles.
These people know their land. They work their land. They know every square inch. They know their crops. They know their weather conditions. Each one has told me absolutely no way can this be caused by a weather condition such as whirlwinds or fertilizer burns or anything like that. They've seen it all. It's not possible. Most of these fields have been in the families for several generations. They know they're not hoaxes because of the fact that you can't get into the field without leaving a path.
As we walked through one of these pictograms in southern England, it became apparent there is presently no man or machine on earth that could do this. These crops are not broken. They are bent, woven, and layered. The layer on top is whirling in a counterclockwise direction, whereas the layer underneath goes the opposite way. The sheer intricacy of the patterns points to a form of delicately controlled energy. What type of energy, no one knows. But there are astonishing residual effects left in the circles.
Many strange things occur with equipment in cornfields. Myself, I've experienced camera malfunctions. The still cameras won't work. I have known a case where focal plane shutter bent up completely inside the camera for some reason. My video camera, which at the time was on the end of a 20-foot pole, I was doing a pan shot from left to right. For some reason, the magnetic sequence onto the tape failed to work. You have a clean tape, a lot of flashing. The soundtrack disappeared. That was digital. Completely. BBC, they too have suffered the same fate with a new Betacam video camera, commercial one. They too suffered the same fate. Their camera malfunctioned and they could never ever get it to work again.
During a beautiful summer's day in 1987, I travelled to a place called Wantage in Oxfordshire to have a look closely at a circle surrounded by one concentric ring. And out of that ring came a small pathway pushing into the standing crop, at the end of which was a small area, a small depression, a cup-shaped, perfectly cup-shaped depression, out of which the soil had been removed and was nowhere to be seen. I had removed from the bottom of the depression a soil sample and a small stone. I put this in a plastic bag and removed it. I took it back to my home in Andover, and They locked it in a room which was very well secured by 3 independent intruder alarm systems, one of which I designed myself and have a British patent for.
That morning at 4:15, one of his 3 sophisticated alarms went off. And every morning for 2 weeks, his alarms were triggered by something at 4:15 a.m. Outside scientists were brought in, but his alarm systems checked out. There were no signs of forced entry. Nothing was ever disturbed except that the infrared sensors in the system had detected a strange heat source moving across them. The day the soil sample was removed from the house, the alarms mysteriously stopped.
We are asking now science to address this energy. What is it? Because up to now it hasn't existed as far as they're concerned. We know it exists, and science now knows it exists.
At a lab near Detroit, Michigan, samples obtained from the crop circles are being tested for any biophysical changes and compared with samples taken from the fields outside the circles by biophysicist Dr. Levengood.
Looked absolutely normal. They were filled out, and I fully expected to find a normal seed inside. But I was very surprised to note that instead of the normal seed, there was a condition that's known as polyembryony.
Further examination showed the seeds from the circles had been genetically altered. Normally, each seed contains 1 embryo. These contained multiple embryos, a very unusual condition.
Positioning of this black substance clearly indicates that the whatever caused this was something coming from above in the atmosphere and not from below. This is some of the glooms or little husks that were below the outside of a particular wheat kernel, and even they show this burning right at their tips. And this would indicate, because of this very localized charring, that this had to be a very rapid process.
Dr. Levengood's research has concluded that the energy creating crop circles is similar to microwave energy. There is evidence of charring and burning, but even more startling are the genetic alterations being found in the seeds. Recently, there have been numerous reports of bright flashes or glowing lights exactly in the areas where circles are discovered the next day. This fuels other forms of speculation.
In regards to it being extraterrestrial UFO involvement, we haven't ruled that out. It still could be a high chance. My opinion that it's happened before. How it's done, we don't know. We have never yet seen a UFO hovering above a corn circle. We have had lights in the sky in the area of a crop circle, but we haven't connected the two yet. Give it time.
Following a report from 2 men driving their car south of Swindon on the night this particular formation occurred, they reported seeing a large bright orange flash of light near Rawton Airfield where this formation occurred, followed by a beam of light from above, the edges of which were rippling. On impact with the ground, a golden ball developed. The veil of light from above diminished, and the golden ball remained at ground level for a short time when it too faded away into the darkness. The whole experience, the whole event was repeated a few seconds later. This formation was discovered early the next morning at the point of impact with the golden ball.
A man had come over the hill in the night, this was, and he was the only car to be seen. His car was the only one to be seen, and he went straight by, and the next morning he returned to the spot where I was still doing some work on this particular formation that had fallen that night. And he came up physically agitated, and he said, "Where's the circle? Where's the circle?" And then he said, there it is, I've got it." And I said to him, "I was up here during the night." And he then said, "I saw a dome of light over this area when I came home last night at 2 o'clock." and he was too frightened to stop because he didn't know what it was.
Whilst I was making coffee, people were just sat around in the kitchen talking. A light came through the room. It appeared to come diagonally through the kitchen, which is a very long room. Was instantaneous, but was more like a beam than a flash. And we all saw it.
Finally, we obtained a British military film that captured this amazing phenomenon. In spite of expensive surveillance operations utilizing low-light cameras, infrared cameras, microwave detectors, specialized listening devices, and security equipment to eliminate human beings, these markings still arrived instantaneously without witnesses or clues.
We are working with nuclear physicists in America, with plasma vortex experts in Great Britain, meteorologists, biologists, plant experts, soil experts, astronomers. Nobody but nobody at the moment can give us that breakthrough which we are looking for.
I've met people from all over the world, scientists, all trying to solve this mystery. My home life is non-existent, really, because I spend so much time and money trying to find the answer to the question I asked in '85. What is going on? Where is it all leading us to?
I'm putting my cards on the table because I believe that is where we have arrived. There's nothing left in the material world. We aren't going to find the answers in the material world. We're going to find it by opening up our minds.
I think this is something here which will lead us into the 21st century. This is the leader, if you like, now, because it's something physical, something everybody can see. They can't now say that the circles themselves do not exist.
Even if we find out what the energy is that creates these circles, I doubt if we'll ever find out what's behind them, because surely something is manipulating this energy to draw, like an artist would, configurations and patterns in the wheat fields. Something or someone wants to get our attention. Why, I don't know, but I hope someday to find out.
We do have here markings which smack of language. The whole phenomenon is beginning to smack of communication, and that could well be the biggest thing ever experienced on our planet.
We are nowhere near solving this mystery, but we are asking hundreds of questions. Have our orbiting satellites and space probes reached another civilization? Are these attempts by an alien culture to reply? Or are these messages from within? People of the ancient Hopi cultures become very emotional when they see these pictograms and insist they have meaning. They say Mother, that's the Earth, is in serious trouble, and she is crying out for help. One of the most recent complex pictograms startled observers with its resemblance to a Mandelbrot set, the application of a simple mathematical formula designed to quantify the theory of chaos. The implications are frightening. Whatever they are, wherever they came from, and how they are formed remains a mystery. Colin Andrews and many like him will not rest until the key is found to unlock this secret.
I am absolutely determined to communicate this to the people around the world, because it is bigger than any one person. This is bigger than all of us. We must understand what is happening here to our planet.